All right, welcome. This is the Remote Therapeutic Monitoring course, RTM Revolution. So I'm gonna teach you how to transform your practice with remote therapeutic monitoring. I want to take a deep dive in the world of RTM so that you can elevate your patient outcomes, you can unlock the financial advantages in your practice, and you can revolutionize your healthcare services with cutting edge monitoring technology. So this is a course that's going to teach you everything that I know, and so who the heck am I, right? Well, you can see my face here, but I'm going to do my best to teach everything I know. My name's Andrew Gorecki. I'm a physical therapist. I'm a fellow of applied functional science. I am an outpatient private practice owner since 2011. I believe we right now have 14 providers in northern Michigan. The company is called Superior Physical Therapy, if you want to look that up. I'm also the founder of Movement-RX, which is a remote therapeutic monitoring solution. Now, that's not really what I'm going to be doing in this class, is promoting that, right? But I just want you to know that I do that as well. So I have a software company that provides not only the software to do RTM for physical therapists. It's an HEP digital platform that's approved and created for this purpose. But it's also a done for you service. So we also have a team of remote providers around the country where we do the remote monitoring for you. So I'm going to use all the knowledge that I've gained over the last 2 years. Really, this is a relatively new program in the world of physical therapy. So I'm going to teach everything I've learned by implementing this in my own private practice and doing that successfully now for 2 years. And then also what we've learned with helping other practices around the country implement RTM, and then also providing them remote monitors. We hire, train, and manage those remote providers. So we're going to use all that information today in this course as we kind of walk through this step by step. And so really the first step that we want to go through here is let's really talk about like what are the benefits of RTM, why you should do it. And really it falls into two main categories. So you have the financial incentive, right? There's financial rewards for doing this program. Like Medicare created these CPT codes, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but it's an incentivization for you as a therapist to get on board with this program. And ultimately, with that financial reward comes the motivation or the goal of getting your patients' outcomes to improve by holding them accountable and creating a digital home exercise program and then getting them to actually do the home program, right? So let's talk about first, how does remote therapeutic monitoring supercharge patient success, right? How does it elevate health outcomes? Really, which is the goal of Medicare. It's to get us to do a better job at something that we haven't done a very good job at in the history of physical therapy. So let's talk about that first. So what are we doing a bad job with? Well, there was a study that was done about 6 years ago that showed that 70% of patients right now in the US are not completing the full plan of care in physical therapy, meaning they're passively discharging. The therapist or the doctor recommends the patient do, 3 times a week for 4 weeks, and 70% of patients are not doing that, right? So whole lot of reasons for that, but that's an important thing to state. We also know that studies show that 70% of patients are not doing their home exercise program in the first 4 weeks of their care. No surprise there, right? You know that as a physical therapist. It's hard to get your patients to be compliant. So if we can do those two things, if we can increase the patients that are completing a full plan of care by providing more value, a higher touch experience, involving them in their care, and then also creating a comprehensive home exercise program that is also has accountability built in, meaning we're going to be tracking it. We're going to know whether or not you are doing your home program, and then we're going to talk with you about it, right? We know that accountability increases results. So those are the two important things here. We know reimbursements, specifically by Medicare, are moving towards an outcome-based model. So if you've heard of the MIPS program, I believe it stands for Merit Incentive. Uh, payment system. So it's a merit-based incentive payment system. I participate with MIPS in my private practice. It is a voluntary program right now, but it's going to be something that they're moving towards where everyone's going to have to do it. Physicians have had to do it for much longer than physical therapists have had the option to do it. So we're going to be paid based on outcomes. We're moving away from fee for service, meaning the more I see you, the more I get paid, to it doesn't matter how much I see you as long as the outcomes are positive. If you get positive outcomes, you get paid. If you're not getting outcomes, you're not going to get paid. So that's something to consider, right? You need to get better outcomes. Some things I should have thrown in here too are we know studies show that physical therapists in the US on average have a less than 50% success rate with patients that they're seeing as it relates to reducing their pain and improving their function. That's not very good. 50%, right? So we've got to do better. We know that the patient having better results is going to equal more referrals because the patient's going to be a fan of you. You got them better. That's all they want, right? So the better the patients do, the more referrals you're going to get, which is again going to increase, other people's health outcomes. And of course, we know there's tons of studies that show accountability that increases also increases results. So we want to see that, right? That's our goal with this whole program. So not only the health outcomes of the patient are the priority, but there's a financial win-win, right? So in this course, we're going to talk about how to unlock the economic advantages of RTM for your practice, right? So we know there's been declining reimbursements for the last several years. I believe the last 10 years, it's 29% Medicare reimbursement decrease. We've got wages that are going up, inflation's going up. The average private practice has less than a 10% profit margin right now. We know that when we are monitoring for 60 minutes a month for an average of 2 months, right now we're seeing roughly a generation of revenue per patient of $350 in addition to that in-clinic care. Oftentimes that's doubling the profit margin for these practices we're working with. So it's a pretty significant financial impact. And of course, happy patients tell their friends and family to come and see you, which decreases your marketing costs. And if you would participate in the Medicare alternative payment models, you're going to see a higher score in your MIPS. You're going to see increased Medicare reimbursements the following year. Let's talk a little bit more about that. So the MIPS program, we've done this program for 3 years, right, in my own private practice. Last year, we just got our score for 2023. We got almost the highest score you can get, 97 out of 100, which gave us an 8.9% increase in Medicare reimbursement for all our patients in 2024. The previous year, we got a score that was like 75% or 75 out of 100, which didn't give us a financial reimbursement increase. It was kind of a wash, right? So we know that MIPS is measuring functional outcomes, right? That the patient is filling out the functional standardized function outcomes tests. We know they're also looking at pain reduction. Like both of these are self-reported by the patient as well. And with that program, there's an opportunity for reimbursement, and that is either a 9% decrease in reimbursement if your pain reduction and financial or functional outcomes are not good, or the benefit is a plus 9% reimbursement. So if you're going to do a program like that right now as a voluntary basis, but knowing it's going to be required in the future, you've got to control the risk, right? And the biggest risk that you have is your patients are not participating with their plan of care and they're not doing their home exercise program, which means they're not getting an increase in function or a reduction in pain. So you better get ready for that because it's coming, right? And then finally, my point here is, and I've seen this in my own private practice and a ton of other companies that we're working with around the country, patients look at remote monitoring and this digital HEP transition as a high touch experience, right? They believe because they can contact us through the HEP platform, they can chat with the remote provider. The remote provider is calling the patient once a month. And so that high touch experience increases and the outcomes are better, right? The patient does better. So they're going to become a raving fan and they're going to leave reviews. This is just a quick snapshot that I grabbed before I started talking today from Superior Physical Therapy's one location. We have 435 5-star reviews. And you can see here that it shows you the keywords for your reviews. Look at number 1, videos. Videos is 35 of our reviews state videos as the reason they're so happy with what we're doing, right? So it's important to recognize that the patients really will appreciate this. It's a little work getting to know this, learning it, implementing it, figuring out the best things you need to do for this, but that's what I'm here for. I'm going to teach you as much as I know. And so hopefully you enjoy this kind of introduction to RTM. Uh, we'll stop here and then move on to the next lesson.